Ted Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers.
Ted Jones, I also call him the eighth wonder of the real estate world.
Ted Jones, who knows, it could be.
Ted Jones?
The Ted Jones World Podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 57 of the Ted Jones World Podcast. I am your host, Ted Jones, alongside producer Pat. Pat, how are you, sir?
What's up?
I feel like every time now that we're doing the podcast, like you and I have to match in some sort of way. Just from like up top to the glasses right now, we're matching a little bit. But how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I wear red shorts pretty frequently when I hit the gym, go for a nice little pump. So
yeah?
I appreciate the red shorts as well.
Have you been going to the gym?
I have been, but I hurt my little knee, Pat.
Aw.
We'll get to that later in the podcast, because
Okay.
we want to talk about how
I don't want to jump ahead.
How I think we should be going about healing things in our body. Okay, but Pat,
Okay.
people have been asking me, and this is no joke, man. People of the podcast love our little camaraderie that we have here together. So people want to know, man, what's the apartment situation, bro? Have you been looking at apartments? You've just been sending apartments over to Ted Jones. What's the deal?
I've been looking, but I don't have a job, so it's kind of like window shopping.
Right.
So if anyone out there is listening wants to give me a job, I got a great resume.
Or an apartment. You do have a good resume.
Or an apartment.
There you go. Well, producer Pat is ready for action as always. This is also like a great time in New York City real estate to get an apartment just because like everything is really at a low point.
Yeah.
I've spoken to some brokers at my day job and they're saying they haven't seen rents this low since 2008.
It's a long time.
Yeah, bro. And also in my building here, I just got finished telling you this guy right here moved out, so
Hey,
we can just do a lot of yelling here at Ted Jones
Why don't you
World.
just knock the wall down and make this one big apartment?
That could be the
That
move.
side could be the studio.
Uh-huh.
This side could be the living area.
Right.
Wow, that'd be sick.
2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah.
Might have to be moving you in there too, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Just get a good little podcast apartment in the mix. But I don't really know. I like the studio. I like the apartment that I'm in right now. But it seems like there is a lot out there, and I'm sure you know as well.
Yeah, there's no rush to leave.
So, are you checking out Street Easy every day, or like how's it working for you?
No, I try not to go on it every day because then I get obsessed with like going and looking at apartments that I
Yeah.
can't. Like I could move into an apartment right now.
Uh-huh.
I can like afford it, but I'd like to make the responsible decision to wait till I have a job to get a new apartment.
And are you gonna stay in the same location, kind of where you're at right now?
I'd like
or are
to
you gonna move.
No, I'd like to stay in the look. I love the neighborhood I live in, so I don't really want to leave.
Right, and I feel like the neighborhood that you live in, while it's super expensive, the rent is still coming down. Like
Yeah.
everywhere in New York City, it's really coming down. And like
For sure.
So I saw this article of Bloomberg News that it goes like San Francisco rents are down 10% from Q3 last year, and then New York rents are like shortly right behind them at 8%. So San Francisco and New York definitely feeling the burn. So sports news, really quick. I guess we'll get into it. I'm a big tennis guy, as Pat knows. Pat likes tennis. You like watching tennis. We had a tennis star on the podcast one time. You remember that?
I do remember.
Christy On, star tennis player. Christy made the U.S. Open round of 16, not this past U.S. Open, the U.S. Open before that. And Christy On, actually, this past U.S. Open, played Serena Williams in the first round, had a tight match, and unfortunately lost. And then in the French Open, she actually played Serena again. Were you aware
I saw
of this?
that. I saw it on Giulio Gallerati episode 7.
A number of episodes. He's been on 3.
His
story?
Instagram story, yeah.
Right. So Christiane was battling in the first set. She was serving for the first set at 5-4 and then lost in a tight tiebreaker 7-6. And then
then she got shut out, right?
Yeah. She got
Sorry,
shut out.
sorry, Christy.
Yeah, she got
We'll
shut out
cut that.
6-0 in the second set. But just being there and battling that close with Serena for a set is definitely an impressive feat. And Serena, after she won, I'm not sure really 100% what the issue was with her, but she pulled out of the tournament.
Oh, she did?
Kind of messed up, dude. I mean, not that messed up, but at the same time,
She should have just pulled out before.
yeah, but at the same time, Chrissy could have easily been in the second round, then possibly third round, and then just keep it moving
Why does
with
she
this
keep-
French Open.
Why does she keep drawing Serena in the first round? How does that work?
Well,
it
it's
like
happened
a-
twice
do
in a
they
row,
pick it out
which is
of a hat?
very, very rare. But
Yeah.
they say that they pick it out of a hat.
Oh, it's supposed to be completely random?
Yeah.
It's not like seeding or
No,
anything?
no.
Oh, shit.
No. And also some of the other players at the French Open right now, because usually the French Open happens at the end of May. They postponed it till now because of the coronavirus. And all the players, not all the players, there's definitely a few players that are complaining about the brick freezing cold. Like
Yeah.
I looked at the weather in Paris today. It doesn't get above 58 degrees. Like you wake up in the morning, it's like 42.
Yeah.
And then, you know, by like the peak of the day, whatever it is, 2 or 3 p.m., it only gets up to like high 50s. And tennis players like playing in the warm weather, as you know.
Yeah. It'll get your bones all cold, you know?
So we'll see. I mean, I really think that Rafael Nadal or Novak Djokovic are going to take it on the men's side. And then I'm not so sure who's going to be taking it on the women's side. It's just like it's a different kind of different person each Grand Slam. There's no really like clear-cut favorite, especially since Serena's out.
Is Naomi Osaka playing?
No, Naomi Osaka is playing.
Oh, nice.
She could take it. But we'll see, man.
Only if
So,
YBN Corday
stay
is
tuned.
in the stands. If he's not there,
YBN Corday was also.
She needs her little hype man.
Oh, dude, it's just Corday now. We can't say
sorry.
YBN. So
Oh,
Corday,
yeah, sorry.
Corday is like a big time rapper, I guess.
It's like
You know what?
NWA.
You know what? I feel like he's not such a big time rapper to the point that he has made himself. I don't know if he like.
He's
has
like
his,
he's like a step up of a SoundCloud rapper.
So-
He's like high school kids are into.
So who would you compare him to?
I don't know.
Like a B to a B minus kind of grade rapper.
Yeah.
He's no Roddy Rich. They're
Yeah,
the
he's
same
like
age, those
he's
two.
he's kind of like Lil Yachty if Lil Yachty wasn't as famous. He's like a less famous Lil Yachty.
Right,
And his music isn't so, I don't know. It's hard to compare. He's not,
Right.
I don't really
also,
listen to his music.
You know
to be
what's
honest.
also crazy? Like Corday has also been on the music scene for not that long, and he's
Yeah.
already like has a house, seems to have a lot of money, and it's probably because he signed a good record deal. Which a lot of these younger guys I think are now figuring out that they need to own their masters and they need to actually own their albums and their songs and not really just giving the rights to whomever for the rest of their life. But people are figuring it out, and Kanye West is definitely talking about. So, excuse me. So, we can talk about COVID tests, I guess, briefly. The NFL actually had to postpone a game because multiple players on both teams had COVID. So, not really sure which direction this really makes the NFL go, just because it seems like this is just going to be more of a problem as time goes on, just being around each other. And also people now more so are just like kind of over the social distancing thing, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, I was in Whole Foods before I came here, and I was walking up one of the aisles, and I guess they're like one-way aisles, and the guy who works there was like, hello, hello, hello to me. And I was like, what? And he was like, this is a one-way aisle.
What?
And I was like, all right. Like, really? We're all wearing masks. The store is open. Is making the aisles one way really going to make a difference?
How
No.
big are those
100%
Whole
not.
Food aisles? Are there,
I
is
don't
there
know. They're probably like 6
enough?
feet wide.
6 feet
but-
wide.
Yeah, so you can't really stay 6 feet. 5, 6 feet wide.
Well,
But, like,
I also feel like people nowadays are just so much more confident that they're not going to be getting COVID unless they're in a certain circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're sitting right next to someone in a restaurant and nobody's wearing masks, maybe you'll get it. But like being outside and walking the streets and like passing somebody who's 6 feet away, like people just seem to not really wear a mask. And I'm becoming one of those guys, man. I'm appreciating the fresh air for sure before it gets cold.
yeah. I mean, I don't mind wearing a mask even outside because, like, New York City, as much as I love New York City, you know how I love New York City.
Yes, we do.
There's a lot of pollution, and I think, maybe wearing a mask might be. Some people say it's so bad because, like, it's bad for your immune system, but
I don't know if I've
I don't
got with
know.
that. I feel
Yeah.
like it's definitely better to keep yourself from getting coronavirus
Yeah.
at this point than
Yeah.
really messing up your immune system. And then all the people who are talking about how masks like fuck up your immune system.
I don't think they really
definitely not
do.
that
First
healthy.
of all,
Yeah,
like-
but I can't imagine anyone who is comparing wearing a mask to something that's really unhealthy.
yeah.
It's probably not. I mean, like, dude, what is that guy or what is that lady eating? Talking about, oh yeah, wearing a mask is unhealthy.
Yeah.
Like, dog, come on. You just housed a
Exactly.
double quarter pounder with cheese
Just
from McDonald's.
You just house a Travie patty.
Yeah, lit.
A little Travis
Your
Scott
boy,
meal.
Travis Scott. So outdoor restaurants will be permanent and year-round in New York City as
like
of
that.
right now. So I guess that heat lamps are a big facto here in
Yeah.
New York City. That's going to be, I don't know, man. That's going to be tough.
Why?
In terms of getting heat lamps and such, are they going to put heat lamps next to every single table? Because I can't imagine how much coverage you're going to
No.
have if you're in like a plastic bubble sitting on the corner.
If it's I went to dinner with my parents a couple weeks ago, and it was outdoor seating, and they had heat lamps, and it was like
Where'd you go? Shout them out.
it was in New Haven.
Ooh,
I forget
Pepe's? Pepe's
what-
Pizza?
No. First of all, it's Pepe's, not Pepe's. Common mistake.
Okay, they have Fueg pizza over there. Apparently.
It's right next to Pepe. It was in the Little Italy of New Haven on Worcester Street. But anyway, they had like probably one lamp for every like 3 or 4 tables. So, but they're not linear. So it was a backyard, and I think in New York a lot of the tables are like they're like all in a big line down the street.
Yeah.
These were kind of like in a yard. It was a courtyard, and there's they're kind of in like a circle, the tables, and then there was one lamp for each like 3 table, and you could feel it, but it wasn't that cold. So I don't know if it's like when it gets really cold, I don't know if they're gonna work. You're gonna have to have one for each table, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
or one for every 2 tables will probably work.
Right. Well, at the end of September, which was a few days ago, they actually said that New York City restaurants may open indoors at a 25% capacity situation, but like even then, that's not going to pay the rent.
At what capacity?
25%.
Well, isn't that happened yesterday, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, the end of September. Yes.
Oh, so it was yesterday, right?
Yeah. So I mean, people like myself and like yourself, I don't want to speak for you. I think we're ready to kind of just slowly get back into the restaurant groove because it's a fun time to go out to eat. I feel like the only thing you can do now is watch TV or like order in food. But that's also solid though. Like if you are like going on a date or you need something to do with like a chick or whatever, then you just watch TV. Or I guess you order in food. So a lot
I
less
like going
stress.
out. I mean, I obviously like going out to eat, but yeah, I think it needs to happen. 25%.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know.
I think it's gonna come back, man. But Ron DeSantis, who's the Florida governor, he said restaurants gonna open at 100% capacity. So he's either a genius or a moron. This guy. And Donnie
leaning towards moron.
Right. And Donnie T really giving it up to all the governors just to really do what they want. Yeah. And I don't know, man. Cuomo's not backing down from Donnie T. We saw a lot of Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, in the beginning of the coronavirus, like the March, and April, and May. And we were doing a great job back then into June and July and August. And now it seems like it's kind of peaking up a little bit. And the first elementary school in Queens actually was shut down for 14 days, becoming the first school to close due to an outbreak in New York City. So I think he's a little bit weary about what's going to happen. And if things start to ramp up a little bit more, like they have been consistently, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could do another lockdown.
I definitely probably cannot.
Well, I mean, but like how long can they make this lockdown for? Can they say like 2 weeks in the house and then the rates will significantly go down? What does your dad say? A man who works in the hospital on the reg. Is he seeing anything like out of the ordinary?
I haven't really talked to him about
3 months ago.
I don't think so. I haven't really talked to him about it, but I don't think there's a ton of cases. I don't know. I think you can't do like a full shutdown again.
Like
there's
we
no way.
had.
Yeah.
Previously.
Or you have to do it for maybe 2 weeks. You can't do it for fucking 6 months,
Yeah. I mean, that was just a crazy circumstance where we basically had shut down New York City for 3.5, 4 months.
Maybe you do since I guess the incubation period is like 2 weeks, right? For when you could possibly hit. Yeah. Right. Maybe they get on a cycle where it's like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I don't know if that could happen, but
that would be awful. Anyone who owns a business, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, but you would still have the outdoor dining, I guess, and you'd still have the takeout, but maybe no.
You mean like the outdoor dining
that wouldn't
with
work.
the heat lamps? Yeah, the 2 on, 2 off may not work. But something that I believe is working for me, Pat. We've gotten into this topic a number of times. I know you wanted to spew your knowledge on it. Is my fasting for my knee, bro. So I retweaked my knee. I was talking to you, can't remember which episode, probably episode 51, 52, about how I hurt my knee and how I was fasting to treat it because I don't know. I've done a good amount of research on this topic, and there's something called autophagy where your body gets rid of the old cells and recreates new cells. And the only way that autophagy can happen is if your body isn't constantly being given new cells in the form of food. Correct. So I'd say just by what I did, I fasted for 36 hours and just right around like hour 18, 19, you start to feel like high, you know, I don't want to say high, but you know kind of what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I think that's when like autophagy is fully hitting in, where like your body is using its fat cells to transfer the energy to the place that is inflamed.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I'm fully explaining this correctly. You correct me
Well,
if I'm wrong.
autophagy doesn't, from what I know, autophagy doesn't really set in until after 48 hours.
Right.
So the people who are doing like intermittent fasting for autophagy, it doesn't really work like that. That's more for like weight loss. But yeah, you have autophagy starts actually between 48 and 72 hours.
You think?
Yeah, no, I know that for a fact.
Well, the I think the what was it? Oh, sorry, ketosis happens before that.
Yeah, maybe. Well, that's just if you don't eat ketones, or that's if you don't eat. That's if your body starts producing ketones. If you don't eat, you don't have to fast completely to be in ketosis. You just have to not eat carbs.
Right. So basically what I've been trying to do is get rid of all the inflammation in my body. And the reason I believe in it is because, I mean, it's slightly simple. The way that I am thinking about it is that, like, if I were to put food in my body, all this energy would be used to break down the food, and it wouldn't be focused on healing the inflammation in my leg. Mm-hmm. So instead of having the energy break down my food, I just have the energy in my body focus on healing the inflammation.
I mean, it's not going to cure if you have an injury in your knee.
It's not going to cure it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it'll help the pain.
Yeah, for sure.
Help the inflammation.
Advil and fasting is what I was doing for like 36 hours. I actually had
Advil. I wouldn't
for that.
You shouldn't take it out. I told you what to take.
Why not, dude? But I took turmeric. It doesn't help.
You're taking the wrong thing. You're taking the wrong kind.
You saw the one
You're taking turmeric. You got to take curcumin, which is the compound in turmeric, because turmeric isn't it's not bioavailable. Your body doesn't absorb it. It's in your bloodstream for like its half-life is really, really short.
So what does that mean?
It doesn't
I would
even
need to
stay.
take it like a few times a day.
You would need to take one that's more bioavailable, which is more absorbable. I'll give you one.
Okay, cool.
I
cool.
promise it'll
hook that
you.
up. Hook that up. So did you see, I guess we'll jump topics really quick. Did you see the debate between Donnie T
I sure
and
did.
Joe Biden? What did you think, man? Give me your first thought.
It was insane. It was like comical. It was so funny.
I just didn't even understand what was going on in the debate and how we are supposed to, I don't know, pick one of those dudes.
Yeah, I mean, it's Trump's fault. I mean, he kind of set the tone for the whole thing.
He was a bully.
He was a bully, but then like he was getting Joe to crack. He was getting to call him a clown. Like, you know, you can't call the other guy a clown.
Right, but at the same time, during the debates when like Donald Trump was debating Hillary, like last election, it seemed like her keeping her cool the entire time didn't do well for her. Yeah. So I feel like Joe Biden
has to fight back a little bit.
Yeah, he was kind of fighting back, and like you didn't really see that like Trump was fully bullying Joe. It was kind of what the hell is this guy doing?
I thought he was gonna walk all over Joe. I didn't think
I did too, and I think most people did.
Yeah, Vice President Biden, I should say.
Right.
But President Trump, I thought wasn't going to say anything valid. I didn't think he was going to say anything that mattered or was true. It was going to all be fake news that he was spewing. But I thought he was still going to overpower Vice President Biden, but he didn't really.
Yeah,
he tried.
I thought it was relatively even. Donnie T, the number one snake oil salesman in the entire world. The guy is a salesman, man. He can sell. Raid to a bug, as they say. Raid kills bugs, and I'm sure Donnie T could find some way to sell it to a bug. Yeah, I think he is a salesman, man, because he just tells people what they want to hear. You know, like if something is brought up and he wants another topic to be portrayed in that question, he has a really sly way about him in terms of like deflecting a question and then putting his whatever response he has in his head to the person asking him the question. You know what I mean?
It's crazy that he wouldn't denounce white supremacy. He wouldn't just like come out and say it.
He said
he was like I'll say
stand down.
Yeah, at first he was like
stand by. He said stand back and stand by, not stand down.
Yeah, at first he was like I won't. He's like I'll only do it if he denounces Antifa. So he never actually said it, but then he was like the Proud Boys, who are technically a white supremacist group, like a fringe kind of
neo-fascist.
neo-fascist group. He was like, he finally said, he was like, stand down and stand by, which means like, don't.
Yeah, because he initially stand down is like, don't do anything, but you may need to, so stand by.
Yeah, he just can't say anything that's gonna. I mean, I don't think he supports white supremacy, but that group is his demographic. That's who
they support him.
They're gonna vote for him, so he can't say. He can't talk shit about them during a debate because then they're not going to vote for him. Well, I don't know. I think I don't think people like that are so crazy that even if he says that, no, the Proud Boys and these, well, he can't say anything bad about them because they're his base and they won't vote for him. But I'm backtracking. I'm saying they're not going to vote for Biden either. There's no way they're going to vote for Biden. So even Trump, even maybe denouncing it, they'd probably be pissed off, but they would probably still vote for him.
Right. True. Well, I think also he wants people to. He'd rather have people vote than not. Like he'd rather have those guys vote than not vote. Because like if anyone's gonna not vote, they would be not voting because Trump is the candidate. Right. I would think. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
So just talking, I guess, about the China virus, the coronavirus. That was like a big topic of the debate, but they really had it figured out from day one. It seems like you and I were talking about how they had a big water park festival in Wuhan like 2 months ago. And this either was an insane conspiracy theory in terms of Wuhan never really had coronavirus or they sent it over here, or these people were wearing masks because they've had viruses like this before and they know that they just got to put on a mask.
Well, like I said in a couple of podcasts ago, right when it happened, they're militant. They're they're basically a totalitarian government. So like when they okay. They had like tanks in the street and guys with rifles. So if you came out of your house, you're done.
Was that if you came out of your house like not wearing a mask or just in general? They were like quarantined.
You couldn't come out of your house. So they shot everything. They were like spraying down the streets and stuff. So it could be that they just were so militant about it that everything got shut down. But then again, they were saying people were dying in the streets. So who the hell knows what was really going on there?
Yeah.
But then here we have like he's leaving the states up to do whatever they want.
So dumb.
So in Wuhan, it was like, this is how it's going to happen. No one gets to do anything other, whatever it comes from, whether it's the president of China.
It's such a weird move that Trump just didn't make everyone follow the same rules. Like while he wants to be this big, like, cool leader or whatever, he should have just done that.
He wants to be a cool leader.
You know what I mean? He should have just done that instead of being like, oh yeah, well, whatever. I don't really give a shit. I'll let all the red states do whatever they want and then the blue states wear masks or whatever it is. I'm not really 100% sure
it's all
where the Trump demographic is right now.
It's just like I said last week, Corona is a political chess piece just as much as anything else is. It's like if he were to make an executive order and make it a federal law to do it one way, then he would probably lose supporters, and he's not willing to do that.
Right. And did you see Joe Biden was telling Trump, he was like 200,000 people in the U.S. have died. And then Trump tried to come back with him. He was like, well, the swine flu killed 14,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, what? And they didn't have to shut down the economy. I don't know. I mean, I'm not anti-Trump, although I am.
Swine flu happened during the recession, though, in 2009.
Right. I think the only reason I'm anti-Trump fully is because he's such a racist dick.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong?
He's definitely a dick, yeah.
The only people that are really fully voting for him and you can't change their mind and maybe you'd understand are old people who like need their retirement funds or need Social Security. Those are the only people who I think would maybe have an excuse to vote for him in 2020.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Are you voting or what?
I have to watch the next couple debates.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm registered to vote here, and it's a red state, right? Or a blue state.
Blue state, yeah.
So
it won't matter that much, but everyone's got to get out there and vote. Yeah. We don't want to set that precedent of not voting.
Yeah, but you don't have to. I'm just kidding.
So the Asians had the masks figured out. They use an umbrella in the sun. Do we need to adapt to this move too?
That's like a class thing.
How do you mean?
I think I talked about this on the podcast before.
You did?
Why they use umbrellas.
Go again, please.
Well, in high school I was on the golf team, and there was a few Korean guys on the team.
I don't
or
think
guys
you
and
told
girls.
the story, but go ahead.
And we would be playing golf we'd be at the driving range in June or like late May, and it's hot out. It's like 75, 80 degrees.
Right.
And the Koreans would wear like sweatshirts and long pants. So one of my friends who I was John Kim, who I was boys with, I was like, John Kim, what's up with the with the long pants and the long. He's like, well, in Korea, I don't want to do the accent.
Yeah, don't do the accent.
But it was funny though.
That was the beginning of it. Was good.
He's like, in Korea. Oh, now you're gonna laugh if I use the American accent.
Go ahead.
In Korea, in Korea, the poor working class works out in the field and they have a tan, and the more aristocratic or upper class works, in buildings. So to show that they're not part of the poor working class,
they have to be pale.
Yeah, they have to be pale.
Right. It's also like back in the day, like when you see pictures of people who are super jacked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was almost like in, I don't know, like Rome or whatever. It was just like
Right.
warriors, and then like all the richer people would just
Like
be
fat
fat and gross.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Was it the Romans who like the king would literally throw up on top of like warriors and soldiers?
I've
and,
never heard of that,
people? I
but
don't know
probably.
I don't know if it was warriors and soldiers, but I definitely do remember hearing some Roman story about how they used to literally throw up on the poor people.
Yikes.
Yeah, so they would just make themselves throw up. It's not good.
Nice.
So Pat, my building here, as I said earlier, getting pretty vacant. You can kind of hear the eerie sounds in the hallway. You gonna be moving in or what? We got a nice apartment for you right here.
I don't
Who
think
knows?
so.
Who knows? You're just next
Putting
door
me
to
on the
your
spot.
boy. Yeah, I didn't expect
Right
you to
on the-
say yes.
Yeah, man, I'll move in today. You got the key for me?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I'll
Let's
open
do it.
It's a master key. We'll open it.
Okay, cool. I'm down.
Okay, Pat, this may be a silly topic to discuss, but I think that, we've all been in the coronavirus mix for 6.5 months now. And I assume that you know how to wear your mask, right?
Mhm.
Well, you have the K95 mask over there, which is like all white.
Yeah, it's giving me marks. It never used to do that, but now I got like the lines.
Why is it? It's too tight on your face?
I guess. I don't know.
So the disposable blue one I have, it typically has like the white on top and the white on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know when I'm wearing my mask upside down or not.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
That
That one says that there's writing on it. So, oh, yeah. Well, no, the blue one, the surgical mask.
blue one, yeah.
Well, there's a metal piece at the top. That's the top. You can
Well,
feel the little
mine's not.
metal wire.
I don't have a surgical mask. I like.
Yeah,
got
it is. That's
I-
that's a surgical mask.
Well, there's no metal piece on the top. How do you mean? Pat's going over there to check it. Give us one sec. Oh, wow. Off the studio couch, checking out the mask.
Yeah, that's metal. There's this part right here, bendy. That's metal. There's no metal.
Hold on. There's metal
You
in here,
stooge.
dude.
Yeah, you don't feel that?
Oh, my gosh.
You're supposed to bend it around your nose.
Huh.
So it's tight around your nose.
Wow. I didn't even know which way. See, I didn't even know which way was up or down. So you put that part on your chin.
You put the metal part on your nose and
So
mold it to
let's
your
make sure
nose.
that everyone knows how to wear a mask, okay? Because I didn't know how to wear a mask until right now. So you got to put this metal part here. Should I do an instructional?
Yeah, like the air. You're like a flight
And
attendant.
then I
in
don't have
Southwest.
ears available, but there you go. Speaking of flights, man, are you going anywhere soon? Or what? You're still worried about the Cheeto Hawaii?
I'd like to go somewhere. I'd like to go on a
Are
nice
flights
little-
cheap?
I don't know. I haven't been looking.
Oh, I haven't really been looking either.
I would assume so, since Southwest, I think, just laid off like 19,000 workers. Or is
Oh
it
my
Delta? Or not?
gosh.
United or Southwest?
I know that they've
One of
just
them
been
recently.
Yeah, they've been doing a ton.
It was like yesterday.
of-
They laid off 19,000 people.
Yeah, they've been
Or
doing
furloughed
a
them.
ton of firing or furloughing. Well, furloughing rather
Yeah.
than firing. Crazy. But I mean, I guess I would like to go somewhere soon. I mean, it's been a while, but like, I think for me, the furthest I want to go initially is a Florida
Why?
vibe. Well, I just think like it's in the country.
Oh, you mean?
hop on the
Yeah.
on the plane with your mask, you get off.
But I feel like once
Essentially,
you're
you
on
don't
the
have to
plane,
quarantine, right? But you don't have to quarantine once you get there, right?
I don't know.
Also, I don't really want to be going through like all these checkpoints and stuff and getting into other countries and then not knowing if my hotel is safe or whatever. But I guess that's
True.
just me being.
Well, yeah, I would.
American
I would go
guy.
pretty much anywhere in the U.S., but I wouldn't go abroad right now. I don't think.
Yeah, going abroad right now, I feel you could not be a good move. But I feel like some of our boys are still talking about doing Euro trips and trying to get out of the U.S. while it's cheap. But I don't know. It's not even really that cheap, especially when they're laying off all these workers. They definitely need to.
Yeah, it's also
Make
not
money.
that expensive once you're in Europe to travel Europe. The flight, you're just paying for the flight, then you're just paying for train tickets.
Where have you been in Europe, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
I've only been to London, I think.
Did you go abroad in college?
No.
I went to Italy. I was in London for like a week with my awful ex-girlfriend. I was in Spain one time.
Yeah.
But besides those three, I think they were like good places to go. I would love to go to Australia or like
I've been to Australia.
or like in New Zealand. Oh, so you have been to like an extremely far away
Yeah,
place.
well, you said Europe, so I was gonna say
right,
I've been to
right.
Australia.
True,
I've been
true,
to
true.
Sydney. I wasn't that impressed.
Really?
I want to go to Melbourne. Sydney was like there was no.
Sydney, they have that opera house.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. You go and you see the opera house, and you're like, okay.
You're like, all right, let's wrap it up.
There's not much culture. There's not really much going on there. I heard Melbourne's really cool. It's got like way more of like a culture, art, music
Right.
scene.
Australia is also enormous, and the
Yeah, it's
fact that
huge.
like Sydney and Melbourne are kind of like really the only cities that, for the majority, people live in is
Yeah.
wild.
Their landmass is like insane, and they have
right.
like the lowest population of any continent.
Yeah.
But they're the biggest continent landmass wise.
It's also funny how New Zealanders and Australians hate being like confused for each
Confused,
other.
yeah.
Like, I'm not a sheep shaggy. You ever hear that?
Kiwis and Aussies.
Yeah, like New Zealanders make fun of the Australians because they have more sheep than people
Yeah.
in the country, so they call them
Yeah.
sheep shaggers.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, you sheep shaggy.
And the South Africans, they're kind of Australian too.
Yeah, they do
Yeah,
have the kind
it's
of
all
that same
three of those.
accent. But why are people from the US want to go to New Zealand? Just because of like the leader over there who
Do they
has
want to go there?
killed coronavirus for the most part? I mean, that's a country that I've seen the most, in my opinion. Like, not even in my opinion. That's the country that I've seen the most in terms of like, oh, they haven't had a COVID case in X amount of
Well,
months.
yeah, I think they have a fairly low crime, like very low crime. I think they have their residents rate their quality of living very high. I think they have.
And they
I
have a
think they have
female leader,
universal
which is
healthcare.
what we need here in the United States. I'm telling you, man, if we just get a female leader, we'll get right back on track. Or vote
you
one,
think so?
Or dude, vote one of us in, man. We're calm,
true.
cool, collected. Seriously,
Very
I mean,
calm.
dude, I would vote. I'm gonna ask you on the spot. Would you vote me over Donnie T or Joe Biden if I had a great team behind me?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, you have my vote.
Hell yeah! You
Can
hear
I be your
that?
running mate?
You mean the vice president?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we need a fucking good team.
Oh, you need a
behind us.
girl though. You said.
Oh, true. No, I'm saying we need.
Well, you could be-
We need a girl, or we just need you and I.
You can have a female running mate, and I'll be the campaign manager.
Oh,
How's that?
That would actually be great.
And then
I
just
can
get
see
some
you doing
cool
that.
title where I just walk around the White House with,
Right,
with
right.
like a with
Producer,
like a thing on my-
President Pat.
Exactly. I just like walk around and like make pithy jokes at everyone, but I don't actually do anything.
Well, I feel like that's like every White House
Yeah,
job for
seriously.
the most part, like baseline.
Yeah.
Pat, so I'm going on a romantic getaway this weekend.
Wow.
Bro, that's why I was talking to you about trips. I was like, have you been anywhere? I didn't know if I wanted to mention it. But
Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to my father's house actually in Long Island. He will not be there, so I figured it could be a good time to get
What
out
a
there.
lovely little getaway.
You know, cook on Saturday, get out there late
Go
Friday.
to Goldberg Bagels,
see.
episode 71.
There you go. No, but you guys, I'm sure if you're looking through the episode list, we did have an episode about bagels, and my grandma was like, "Ted, I don't know how you made bagels seem so interesting." It was very, very great. So we had an episode about Goldberg's famous bagels, a big time famous bagel place in Long Island. But we'll see, man. Do you have any recommendations for me? Any activities we should do on Saturday? You got any good Netflix things? So there was this kid, there was this murder mystery show or murder mystery like Netflix hour special, or maybe it's a couple episodes that just came out. That looks interesting. So we'll see.
I don't know if it's gonna be nice. You don't want to stay inside, but
True,
I don't
but I don't
know
think it's
out
gonna be
where
that
you
nice.
are. I don't really know that area, so I don't
Well, you
know.
can't do anything anyway because it's COVID, though. So you got to figure like Saturday is an apple picking.
Well, yeah, you
or
can.
A
I've seen the
pumpkin,
pictures out there. People are still going out and
drinking rosé.
yeah, exactly.
I guess, man. We'll see.
In
But,
Long Island.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I like this girl that I'm seeing right now. It's actually the same girl that we were talking about. When was this? 2 weeks ago, from the
Yeah.
wedding of Ricky Velez.
When are you
which
going
was
out there?
A long time. I'm gonna go
Tomorrow night.
late Friday night.
Yeah.
And you know, come back Sunday.
Nice,
But,
man.
It should be cool, man. I haven't had a romantic weekend with a girl, I don't think, in a very long time.
You gonna
It's
cook
been-
some,
It's been years.
Beyond Meat burgers
I'm
on
not
the grill.
gonna cook. She's gonna cook.
Wow.
But yeah, she said
That's how
she's
it
a
should
good
be.
cook.
I'm kidding.
So we'll see. I'm down for some Beyond Meat burgers though.
Nice, dude.
So yeah, I'm excited for that, man. What about
Well,
you?
have
What are your
fun.
plans? Thank you very much.
I'm hanging out. Some friends from out of town will be here this weekend, so Got a couple of resis at a couple different resties.
Anywhere in particular? Because I know you are a resi snob. You love a good restaurant. So what's your favorite place now?
I don't have a favorite place. A lot of
go?
good stuff is closed, to be honest. Yeah. I think we're gonna do Ruby Rosa one night. Just good
just
pizza,
phenomenal pizza, right?
I think we just made a bunch of reservations just
and
in
then you're
case.
Gonna cancel them or whatever.
Yeah. Some places have cancellation fees, but Tacombe.
Tacombe's good.
Yeah. I want to try Raoul's in Soho, but
what kind of food is that?
It's French food, but they're supposed to have like the best burger ever, something, but they only make 15 burgers a day.
What?
Yeah, so you have to and it's only if you sit at the bar, and it's some weird thing. I don't know. It sounds cool.
Weird.
I want to do it.
That does sound cool, but also weird.
Yeah. Where else? Gilligan's in at the Soho Grand. It's like a little outdoors, like tropical vibe. None of them are like amazing places. They're just
but I feel
nice
like
outdoorsy
now the
kinda.
move is since you only have outdoor seating and 25% indoors as of the other day.
Yeah.
Like reservations are super key.
Cipriani. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right.
I love walking by there, dude.
I love walking by there too.
There's
West Broadway.
Yeah,
everyone has a
Broadway.
freaking platinum gold
Yeah,
Rolex.
every time you walk by, I look at everyone's
losers.
watches. Everyone's wearing like a Audemars, and there's a Maybach sitting outside.
So there's this place on West Broadway called Cipriani, which I'm sure you people have heard of. They charge $25 for a Bellini. It's like 4 ounces of fruit juice.
Yeah.
And then if you end up going there and you have 2 drinks each and then like a main, you end up spending like $400. Not for me.
It's a bunch of like out of shape, like European guys,
Bro,
with
with the
gold
hottest
watches
young,
on.
yeah, with the hottest like younger girls of all time.
It's insane.
Yeah, definitely not.
Have you ever
place
eaten there?
That
I'm sure you
I
have,
would
huh?
recommend. Definitely not a place I would recommend. Yes, I have, and spent all the money I've ever made there. But super expensive and not that great. But hey, New York City is coming back. And episode 57 of the Ted Jones World Podcast. We are here. We're in the mix. And we'll see you next week for what's next week episode, Pat? What number?
58.
There you go. 58. Up high, down low, elbow. Thank you so much for tuning in. And goodbye.